Hi, welcome to episode 53 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast. There's also a blog. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everyone who's subscribed because I got over 600 subscribers now. And for me, that's just awesome. So thank you very much. What I'm wearing today is a shirt that I have sewn a while ago when I was a bit bigger, so it's a bit wide, but I still like it. It's a wrap top. As you can see, it's a wrap top. But it's not a real wrap, it's a faux wrap. It's sewn shut, so it just looks like it is. The pattern is a free pattern on a German blog called Fabrik der Träume. So if you are German or you can speak German, you should go check that out. And my computer is driving me crazy here. I'm redoing the introduction part of the podcast because I started my podcast and then my computer just popped up a window that said, just so you know, in 20 minutes we're going to restart this computer. But no, I need my computer right now. You cannot restart it in 20 minutes. So I shut it down, restarted, and now we're good, I hope. Okay, so I have not podcasted for almost 3 weeks. And I have stuff to show. So I'm going to show stuff. I finished the Close to You shawl by Justyna Lakowska or something like that. It's a free pattern download on Ravelry. I knit mine with Expression Fiber Arts in the Resilient Superwash Merino sock in the Passion Flower colorway. This is how much I had left. I had to cut the instructions one pattern repeat short because I was running out of yarn, which is okay. It's still nice and big. I think this is the right side. So here it is. My Close to You shawl is done. I still have to weave in the ends, but it is blocked. So the main finishing part is over. And I really like it. I loved working on it. It's a super easy knit. I like this border. So yeah, the only thing it's just a shawlette, and I don't really wear shawlettes all that much, but at least it's big enough to really wrap it around like a scarf. So I think I will wear it in winter. We'll see. I like it. The yarn is very soft, very nice to work with. And my wool wash smells great. So, yay! Finished shawl. Very quick knit. I started, I think, a few days before my last podcast, and I worked on it every now and then. So, it's really a nice and quick project. So, that's the first finished object. The second finished object is quite a bit bigger. I want to show you the leftover yarn first. Maybe you can guess. So, this is Wollmeise, and this is handspun. I had 3 skeins of this Wollmeise colorway, and I hoped to get away with only using 2 skeins, but about that much left to knit on the second sleeve, I ran out. So, because I'm a lazy person, I popped this on my Swift and knit straight off of that and reskein it when I was done. Because I just didn't want to wind a 150 gram skein of yarn without having to use it full. So I had a lot of this handspun left, and I finished my breathing space. So here's the front. It's finished. I did show a picture on Instagram of me wearing it with the ends still attached. And it fits great, it looks great, it drapes great. It's the most amazing sweater I have ever knit. And I will live in this thing. I am so glad that I already cast on for a second one. So it's an amazing sweater. I going to wash it, but I'm not going to really block it. I'm just going to lay it flat to dry because the way it is right now, it's perfect. And I do not want to mess with this. So I'm going to show it on myself probably next week when it's not 30 degrees out like today. But yeah, and here, as you can see on the second sleeve where it gets darker, is where I had to attach the third skein of yarn. And I originally hoped to not having to use it because, as you can see, compared, it's so much darker. But, you know, as the handspun is very different in both sleeves, I think you just don't see it. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect sweater. I knit this sweater using, like I said, Wollmeise and Ätherische Öle handspun. I knit it on a US 4 3.5 millimeter needle. It's the Breathing Space sweater pattern by Vera Välimäki. It's in Interpretations, book number 3. And I read that they are working on book number 4, which makes me excited because I love these. This is the pattern. And yeah, I just love it. I am going to knit the second one now. You know, get back to it. So, yes, it's done. It's done. It's perfect. I could sit here for the next hour and tell you how perfect this sweater is. But that's a bit boring for everyone, so I'm not going to do that. But it's done. It will be blocked or washed. So, yeah. I'm very happy with this. Now, for knitting in the present, I have 2 things. First of all, another shawl. I don't know why I'm knitting shawls right now, because I really don't use shawls all that much. I just don't. So, I am knitting the Boardwalk by Stephen West. I think this is the best picture. It's a big shawl. These I do use because I wrap myself in them like in a blanket when I'm at home. And yeah, so this is the Boardwalk. I have finished 4 stripes, as you can see. My needle is getting short already. And these rows are getting long and I still have to do 3 more of those stripes. So yeah, I'm going to hate knitting this, I'm sure, because it's so boring. The yarn I'm using is Quarry Fiber. It looks like this. I have 2 skeins of this in the Dalek colorway. It's her tweed base. And I have 2 skeins of the tweed base in the Explosion colorway. And as one of these this one here has a lot more yellow than the other one, I just used, you know, skein number 1 here, number 2 here, next up is going to be number 1 again. And with the yellow I did the same thing, just to make sure that it just looks like it's supposed to be that way. And when you look at it now, you can really see the difference between the 2 dark stripes. But I like it. I think it's going to be very nice in the end. And yeah, so this is what I'm working on. I worked on this almost exclusively during nap times while I was alone with my son. And I think it's so boring that my son fell asleep watching. I don't know. It's really, I like it. I love the finished thing. I love the yarn. But it's just, you know, it's a garter stitch shawl with about 1 million stitches on the needles. So it's not very entertaining to work on. Now so I'm using US 4's 3.5 millimeter needles. It's what it's called for in the pattern. The other thing I'm knitting. I went back to the Middlefield pullover after I finished the Breathing Space and decided to get going on it, and I knit about 2 inches on the sleeves, on the first sleeve. So this is hopefully going to be the next finished sweater, and if this one fits as well as the last 2 sweaters fit, I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm knitting this, my English is awful today. I'm knitting this sweater with handspun. It's this sweater. It's by Melissa Labar. It's in the book New England Knits. And yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I've been showing it about 1,000 times before, so you know it. It's not new. So yeah, for knitting in the future, I want to finish stuff. I don't know why. I'm in a finishing mood. On Sunday, I sat down. I finished the Close to You shawl. I finished plying a sweater yarn that I'm going to show in a second. And I finished a breathing space. All in one day. And then I got the sweater that only needs 2 sleeves and a collar. And I already think about the next thing that's close to being done that I'm going to dig out. It's weird. It's really weird. Normally I start all the things, but I don't finish them. So, yeah. It's a nice change, I guess. So, that's back in there. Perfect. Now for spinning. I realized that I finished my 2 single art yarn things and showed them on a bobbin, but I never showed them in the skein when they were completely finished, so I brought those. That's the first stuff I'm going to show. You saw these on the bobbins. This is my thick and thin. This is just where I tied it, so it's all good. This is a thick and thin spun single out of Spunky Eclectic Roving, or top. It's 250 meters, 273 yards, and 117 grams. And this is most likely going to end up in my shop. Because I love it, but I don't need it. I have so much hand spun and it's just, I'm not using it. So it should go to a home where it's loved. So yes, this will possibly be in the shop. And yeah, I love it. Every now and then I really like doing these thick and thin hand spuns. The other skein that I had finished on the bobbin, but not in real life, is this skein of yarn. It's another hand spun. It's a single. I have no idea what roving it was or top who dyed it. I have the tag somewhere, so I will write it down. For this, I got 171 meters, which is 187 yards and 103 grams. And what you can see here, when I started this, I initially wanted to do another thick and thin, so it has 2 or 3 of those thick spots, and then I just decided to not do a thick and thin, but I left it in the yarn so the person who buys it in the shop, because this will go in the shop as well, can just cut it off and has that 2 meters of yarn if they need it for whatever. So if you buy this, please don't be afraid. That's not a mistake. It's just a change of mind. So yeah, these 2 will go in the shop. Then the other thing that I finished, like I said, was my sweater combo spin, the latest. I spun all the singles during Tour de Fleece, and I plied it this week. Yeah, I plied 1 skein on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. I'm gonna tell you all the specs now, and then I'll show it. I got 1,065 meters, which is 1,164 yards. And it's 493 grams. The fiber was dyed by 2 local friends of mine. And I did my normal split stuff combo spin. And I have it still on a hanger because it's still very wet. So it's gonna go outside as soon as I'm done again. These are 2 ginormous skeins that I plied on my mini spinner. And it looks like this. I am very much in love with it. It's very different for my colors. I normally go for other colors, but it's amazing. I just love it. I think it's going to floof up a little bit more during the drying process. But yeah, it's amazing. I love it. It turned out really nice. But yeah, it's still very, very wet. As you might be able to see, it's just very heavy, very wet. So I'm going to hang that away again. But it's done. I'm not going to show it again, I think. Good. So that's it for spinning. I am plying my sock yarn right now that I've spun in January, maybe. But yeah, I wanted to ply everything of that yesterday. And I think my mini spinner didn't want to apply everything in one sitting, so it shut off. It got overheated because I wanted to finish things fast and it just didn't want to. So I'm gonna apply the rest of it today. It's not a big deal. And yeah, that's it for spinning. Now for new stuff. I got stuff. Lots of stuff. I am going to show these things first. I ordered myself some Floops stitch markers. I got a small set. This one. This one is the small set. And a medium set. And 2 different colorways. So I knew which ones were which. You know, because sometimes I just don't really look for the size of these things and I just pop them on. So yeah. And now that I have those in my hands and I'm looking at them, I actually think these are just cut up hair elastics. Don't you think? But I love the idea. I love these. I think they are going to be amazing. I have not tried them yet. I will. And I will let you know if I like them. So, then I ordered yarn from Hue Loco because I wanted to. It's very crinkly. So, I got 2 skeins. I got one on a sparkle base. And it is Outer Space Love on Glitz Sock. And it's a speckled yarn on gray. On a gray background. And the other yarn is also gray with color in it. It's called Love Spell. And it looks like this. It's not a sparkle yarn. It's a normal yarn. It's her Phyllis sock. So yeah, I got 2 skeins of Hue Loco. I just wanted to have some to try, and now I do. So you can find her shop on Etsy. I think they're really nice. Pretty. So this will just go away. Then my husband was in America and he brought back stuff. He brought a lot of fabric, which I'm going to show later. And he also, sorry for the bending, but I just cannot not bend. He also brought me back 3 skeins of yarn because he had some time to kill in San Francisco and he decided to go to the Mission Dolores Park. And if you've ever been to San Francisco and know a little bit about it, it's right next to the Imagine It yarn shop. So he went there. He got me a skein of Tosh sock in the Twain colorway. I think it's like Mark Twain. It's a 100% superwash merino. Then he got me a skein of Delicious yarns in the Sweets Fingering, also a 100% superwash merino, and I've never heard of this yarn company before. This is their label. Never seen it before. And the 3rd skein of yarn is by Ancient Arts, and it's a BFL, 100% superwash BFL. And I love BFL. So he got me those and I looked at it and said, ooh, it's even BFL. And he said, I know. I looked for it. So he knows what I like. Got me a skein of BFL sock yarn. I really like this one. It's really nice and pretty. So, yarn from my husband. And I got the new Pom Pom Mag. It's the autumn edition, I guess. Issue number 18, autumn 2016. There are nice things in here as always. It's a really nice magazine. I'm not going to show stuff because I haven't marked anything and I haven't looked through it properly. Okay, I'm going to show one thing. I love this sweater. And what I really love about this sweater, not only the sweater but the magazine itself, is that they used a normal woman. Not every person in a knitting magazine needs to be 18 and have a perfect body. You can use beautiful, gorgeous women that are a little bit older than 18 and still make pretty pictures. Love that. I love it. So, that's it for new stuff. For normal new stuff, I have a lot of new fabric and I will show it, but I will show it in the sewing segment. So if you're not interested in it, you can leave. I think that's fair to everyone because I really want to show that stuff and some people are just not interested in it. So we're going to do it like this. I'm going to show sewing related new stuff in the sewing segment. Good. Now I don't have an indie of the week because I worked with Wollmeise and Ätherische Öle and I had those as my indies of the week before, I think 1,000 times, and I'm not going to link them again because I'm lazy. Now for reading, listening, watching. I started listening to the Harry Potter books narrated by Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry. He's an amazing guy. He seems to be super nice and his voice is great. He's a great narrator. I'm very happy that I got it. I'm still on book 1 and they are in Diagon Alley right now for shopping. So I'm not very far into it. But I started listening to the German audio version first. And there are 2 different versions in Germany. One that's read or narrated by Rufus Beck, and he's perfect. He's a perfect narrator for books that are more geared towards children. And the newer version is read by, oh god, what's his name? Someone else. And it has the same cover as the Stephen Fry version. So I think these are the 2 newer versions. And the German version is 2 hours longer than the English version. They're both uncut, so just the whole book. Which is interesting to most people. For me, who's, dabbled into both languages a lot, you need a lot more words in German to say English stuff. It's just, you cannot translate stuff one-on-one. It's not possible. So if I did my podcast in German, it would be 10 minutes longer each week. Because that's just how it is. It's the words. So yeah, I started that. It's amazing. I didn't expect anything else. It's Stephen Fry. It had to be amazing. And it is. And then, now, I got angry yesterday. Like really, really angry. I started watching Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think 3 days ago. 4. And as my husband took care of my kid, I could sit down, knit, ply, do stuff that's soothing my soul, and watch that show. And I gotten up until episode 16. When I opened the thing on my TV yesterday, they had taken it out of their Prime program. So I watched 16 episodes of this season, of this show, for free. And now they want me to pay €3 for each episode. Or buy, of course, the whole season. I'm pissed. That's just not right. At least they could give you a notice, like, hey, we've noticed you're watching this. Just make sure you finish because we are going to take it out of our Prime program. No. They get you engaged and then they decide to have it paid for. It's not a nice strategy. I mean, I'm sure it works because people want to know what's happening next and they buy stuff. But it's just not nice. I don't like it. I didn't buy it. I'm not going to finish it until it's for free again or it's on Netflix or whatever. But I was so angry about this yesterday. Like, I was really, really angry. They just changed it from one day to the next. Yeah, no. Amazon, no, that's not nice. So what I did instead, I went to Netflix because that stuff is always for free. Because you're paying for Netflix each month. And you also pay for Amazon Prime, so Okay. I went to Netflix and I started watching iZombie. And I love it. It's super fun. I like it. If you don't like it, sorry, I love it. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this. without being angry. But it's just not right. Has anyone else experienced this? Because yeah, no, that's just not right. Okay, now on to happier things. Sewing. I went to a sewing class last Friday. It was a beginner surgery class, and I went with a local knitting friend of mine, and we were the only two people because everyone else decided that August is not the time to take a sewing class, which is great because we really learned a lot because she could focus on the two of us. So we learned how to thread the thing. We used 4 different colors. We learned how to do the tensioning on all the 4 colors. And when it worked, we changed the colors to just one color, and we started sewing. Our instructor, teacher, whatever, she said that she didn't want us to sew a lot of small pieces of trial things because that's just no use for no one. So we made a t-shirt and we drafted that t-shirt first. So I have it here. I have all my 3 things here. So yeah, we drafted a t-shirt with a cap sleeve. Is that a cap sleeve? I don't know. We drafted a shirt and we made a shirt and it looks like this. It fits. It looks not too bad. Am I going to use this self-drafted pattern again? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure because it's from the, from the look of it, it's a lot like the natty top, but I like that a lot more. So I will possibly go back to that. But the important part is that all of this was sewn with the serger only. There was no normal sewing machine involved. So yeah, you might notice that the bottom of my t-shirt looks a bit different. That's because I made a mistakeification. I did attach the band the wrong way and decided that it's a design feature. And my friend did the exact same thing on the Hairy Next t-shirt, but she did it on purpose. So yeah, it's the first t-shirt. It's done. It's nice. The second t-shirt has sleeves, like set-in sleeves, and we also drafted that ourselves. I still have to do a little bit of finishing work on it, but just a wee bit. And looks like this. We had to, of course, when you're doing a sewing class at a fabric shop, you have to use their fabric. So I went downstairs and got the most cheap fabric that I could find because, it's a sewing class. You are going to do stuff wrong, so I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. So I got this fabric, and I actually really like it. I think it's nice. Yeah, it has set-in sleeves. And mine has a little V-neck because I screwed up the neckline. I didn't stretch the neckline band fabric enough, so it was like really flary. And our teacher just stitched up little triangles, as you can see here, to make the problem go away. And I have to just stitch that triangle down with a few hand stitches so it will stay in place, and you cannot see it at all when I'm wearing it. She also had to do the same thing at the shoulder seams, so that's why this looks a bit weird. But yeah, for around the house, I don't care. It's really nice. And then we had about 1.5 hours left. It was a whole day. It was an 8-hour class. And we just had a small break in between for eating and buying more fabric. So the last thing we made was a skirt because my friend said she really wanted to do a skirt and the instructor said, sure, let's do a skirt. So we did. And that's the skirt. Also self-drafted because, who needs a pattern when you can draft your stuff? I cannot draft stuff. I'm very happy that she did help us with everything. So this is my skirt. I attached some knit fabric for the top hem. It's not a hem. Waistband, maybe? I don't know. So yeah, that's one side. That's the other. The skirt has no front and back, so I can wear it on each side. It doesn't matter. And yeah, So these are the 3 things we made. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of stuff about my serger. And I'm going to go back for a new class this Friday. And this time I'm going to be joined by the Stitchionista. So it's going to be a nice and fun day. And we are going to make a jacket. We're going to sew the same thing. I asked our teacher if she, how many people are going to be in that class. And like I said before, in August, people don't want to take sewing classes because they have their kids at home because it's school break. And as a teacher, I am on a break, which means that I can go to classes. And I will. I'm going to go there. And as we are the only ones, except for one older woman who just got a serger and wants to learn how to use it, I asked her if it was okay for her if we just brought what we really wanted to make but didn't really know how on our own. And she said, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Perfect. So we're going to sew something that we really wanted to have. So that's it for my class. I was really, it was a good thing. I'm glad that I got there. And I'm glad I'm going to go there again this Friday. So now I have a ton of new fabric. Like I said, when you are in a fabric shop for a class, you are going to buy stuff. So, and also my husband brought me back a lot of fabric. I'm possibly not going to show everything in here, but I have to show this one. This will be turned into a dress. Most likely the Doris dress by Sew Over It. I had these were leftover pieces that I got at the fabric shop, and I got 3 of those. I think they're about 1.5 meters each, so I have a ton of fabric here. And it's already washed and ready to go, but I'm in love with it. Don't you think it's so nice? Yeah, this is going to be a dress. Now the next stuff I'm going to show is fabric that my husband brought me, and he brought me 2 yards of each of those. So I have this one. Then this is the only one where he got 3 yards because he loved it so much. And it's gorgeous. Very much me. And then this blue. This flame fabric he thought I could use for project bags, for the lining of project bags. I'm not sure yet. I might use it for something very different. And now my favorite. It's the Zombie Drive-In. Burgers, brains, and blood. I will make a skirt out of this for sure. He's perfect. He brought me these, and the next stuff is what I got yesterday because, like I said, yesterday was a holiday here. Did I say that? I'm not sure. The Stitchionista and we decided to have a road trip yesterday and went to a fabric shop that's, 1 state over. And they did not have a holiday yesterday, but we did. So we went shopping. I got this chiffon style super drapey stuff with butterflies. I have no idea what to do with this. I will find out. Then I have some more of these leftover pieces in this beautiful green with the little stars. I got this fabric. My husband thinks it's very ugly. I love it. I love it. I'm not sure why, but I really like it. I think it's going to be a nice skirt because of the border print. Then I got a meter of this quilting cotton to make a sorbetto top. Another leftover pieces of this beautiful red fabric. And then they do have fabric by a clothing designer called Max Mara. I'm not sure if you know it, but they kind of buy their remnants, and well, I got stuff from there. And I'm going to make a pair of pants out of this. And I got this fabric. This beautiful brown with the little flowers. Then some more for a skirt. And then this is the fabric for the thing that the stitchionista and I are going to sew on Friday. It's this combination here. Her combination looks very different, of course, but this is what will be made into stuff, and I'm going to show it to you next week. Then I have this fabric. And almost done. This is jersey. I saw this at their shop twice before, and it was quite expensive, so I did not want to justify buying it, but they had a sale. So this was 30% off. And then I decided to get it. So I got it. It's going to be a long sleeve shirt because it's just beautiful. I love this color. And then I got 2 more pieces of fabric. Oh. And these are going to be a, 2-piece outfit. So I got this little, it's a denim, a very lightweight denim with little stars. I'm not sure if this will ever focus on the stars because this fabric is just weird. And then I got this fabric to make a jacket for this jumpsuit. So I got a lot of fabric. I have to wash all my fabric because I need to take this to the shop on Friday for sewing because, like I said, when you're doing a sewing class at a shop, they want you to use their fabric, which only makes sense, it's only polite. And as the shop where we are going to take the class and the shop we went yesterday, they are like a franchise. So we can use our new fabrics there. I just have to clear out the table because this is not going to work for me. Good. So that's it for sewing and new fabric. I am hoping to get sewing, like really get in sewing mode and just sew stuff. Now the only thing I have to talk about is everything else. I should have drawn winners for the 16 and 2016 and for the Tour de Fleece. I didn't. I'm sorry, I just didn't. I forgot. I'm going to draw winners next week. I'm going to announce them. And also, I have not sent out last month's winners' prizes. I'm very sorry. I will get those out hopefully next week. I'm trying. I really am. It will get out as soon as possible. So, yeah, I think that's it for this week. I know I had I had a lot of stuff to show. I'm talking pretty fast again, I think, because I didn't spend a whole lot of time right now. Like, not as much as I thought I would. So, I'm going to stop talking. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will talk to you again next week. Until then, bye.